his sentences for all 4 steps. And I'm going to prove to you, you've got empathy, you might not even realize it, but you've got empathy and expertise in all 4 remaining sentences. I'll start with the exam. Next sentence. I had one employee who was interested in moving into management, but didn't feel it was happening fast enough. One employee who was interested in moving into management, but didn't feel it was happening enough. Where's the empathy in that? Where's the empathetic part of that sentence? Feel. See, what people don't understand is, I had one employee who was interested in moving into management. Interested in moving into management requires expertise. I can give you the path to moving into management. Here's the 9 things you need to do to move into management. That's expertise. That requires expertise. But the empathy part is didn't feel it was happening fast enough. Now, come on with me. I'm almost done, I promise. If I just gave them the 9 ways to move into management and said, deuces, I'll see you, follow it, and I didn't take into account the fact that was it he or she?
Was that she?
She? That she didn't feel it was happening. It doesn't matter. I just use the pronoun. That she didn't feel it was happening fast enough. If I just gave her the steps without the empathy, what's going to happen?
They might still think.
He's probably going to leave.
Yeah. Man, I already think it's happening too slow, and your answer is 9 more steps? Yeah. What is the matter with you? But if we all listen, if we only do expertise, oh man, I got you. I can help you get management. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by. Do these 9 things, and you're in. And then they leave. Like, I got hurt, man. Oh! And she's like, this son of a, just gave me a I should already be president. You should be seeing my title now. And give me 9 more things. I have to have the empathy before I can give expertise. So here's the step. I got to assess before I deliver. See, we talk a lot about asking, and asking's coming next. But whenever possible, I would like to assess before I ask. We've gotten so good at asking questions that we rely on them too much. Now, this is a sales thing, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a sales thing. It works in leadership too. A lot of sales concepts work, transition well in leadership. Sales people, sales teachers and sales professors and sales leaders teach all about asking great questions. But what they end up doing is they end up creating an army of lazy salespeople. Because the lazy salespeople just think, well, all I got to do is ask a bunch of questions. So I don't have to do any research. I don't have to go look anything up. I don't have to look at the company. I don't have to study them. I ain't got to do nothing. I'll just roll in on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock because you gave me a meeting, and I'll ask you 15 questions, and by the end of the 15 questions, I'll know what your situation is. The problem is the customers stop wanting to talk to you after question 4. Customers do not want questions. They want what?
Answers.
People who work for you don't want questions. They want what?
Answers.
They'll take your questions if there is a path to the answer.
Wow.
But you start asking 15, 16 different questions, trying to get to know them. They're like, I work for you. You ought to know me better than this. The first step is to assess first. You've got their performance metrics. You've got their numbers. You know what kind of person they're in. Listen, I ran into a young lady, a fabulous young lady who works for me in the hallway at Bidgood Hall on Friday afternoon. And she came at me with a bunch of stuff about how she didn't feel something or other. And I appreciate, I'm empathetic, I'm listening to her. But I know that every 2 Fridays she comes to me with something she feels bad about. So I am going to listen to her, I'm going to take action against it, but I'm not going to go run jump off a building because she's unhappy today. She's unhappy every other day. Now she may not be right for us. That may be the thing, is that she may not be right for us. But I can't. But if somebody who is happy-go-lucky and is always going, and comes up to me and is unhappy, I take that a little more seriously. That's assessing the person before I deliver the coaching or ask. What, y'all got me on that? Okay. Second sentence.